You may sit. Good afternoon. Welcome to all of you. I'm Chantal Reed, Director of Undergraduate Studies in Environmental Sciences and Policy, and I currently serve as the Director of Undergraduate Program in the Nicholas School of the Environment. Today, we celebrate with all of you the accomplishments of our extraordinary students, whom we have had the privilege to get to know over the last 4 years. I work with a world-class team of faculty and staff who engage with your sons and daughters, and I want to recognize some of them now. First are the Director of Undergraduate Studies, who guide our students through their academic programs, advising them on everything from research opportunities, study abroad, summer internships, and of course, which class to take. I will also introduce the staff members who keep everything running smoothly. Doctors Emily Klein and Alex Glass, co-directors of undergraduate studies of the Earth and Ocean Sciences, Dr. Tom Schultz, Director of Undergraduate Studies of our Marine Sciences and Conservation programs, Dr. Dirk Philipson from the Sanford School of Public Policy, co-director of the Sustainability Engagement Certificate. Supporting our work here on campus is Amy Kirkland. And supporting our work at the Marine Lab are Katie Wood, Park Watson, and Wendy Wobel. Seated to the left of the stage are some of the faculty who have taught your students and advised them, mentored them in their research, and took them to transformative field experiences around the world. Faculty, as I name you, please raise your hand. From the Marine Lab in Beaufort, North Carolina, our campus on the coast, we have doctors Danielle Dunn, Dave Johnson, Zach Johnson, Grant Murray, Andy Reed, the director of the Marine Lab, Danielle Richoff. Resident here in Durham, I welcome Doctors Elizabeth Albright, Martin Doyle, Megan Dunphy-Daly, Gary Dwyer, Pat Alpin, Dave Hilton, Joel Meyer, Stuart Pym, Drew Schindel, Martin Smith, Rebecca Vidra, Jeff Vinson, and Erica Weinthal. A few logistical details. Today, we will award diplomas to each of our undergraduate majors and celebrate some special awards. A reception will follow in the Granger Hall, where we'll have a chance to get to know and meet some of you. Photography. You're welcome to come up at any time to photograph your student. And let me also mention that we have bathroom in the back. Students, immediately after the ceremony, We will take a group photo on the step of the pond right across the street, assuming that it doesn't rain. And we have a rain plan inside here, okay? Now, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Toddy Steelman, who is the Stanback Dean of the Nicholas School of the Environment, an alumni of Duke herself. Dean Steelman is best known as a wildfire expert. Much of her research focuses on understanding community responses to wildfires and how communities and agencies interact for more effective wildfire management. Dean Steelman will say a few words and award diplomas to each of our students. We are delighted that she can be here to participate in this important day for our graduates. Dean Steelman.
Thank you, Chantal, and good afternoon, everybody. As Chantal said, I'm Toddy Steelman. I'm Stanback Dean of the Nicholas School, and I am also a graduate of this school, as she also indicated, earning my PhD here in 1996. And as an alumna, I am especially pleased to know that you will be joining our ranks today as our alumni as well this weekend. So before we begin, I also want to acknowledge our dedicated and talented faculty who are with us over here today. And I also want to acknowledge our staff who have been working tirelessly to pull off this event. As you can imagine, something like this just doesn't happen. And given the impending weather that we've been anticipating, we have had a variety of contingency plans that have been in place. And so there's been a lot of uncertainty around what would happen, and they've really pulled together very nicely. And the upshot here is that a university or a school is only as strong as its faculty and its staff. And I am really pleased to say that ours is superb. So I am grateful to one and all. Thank you. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the Nicholas School's 2019 undergraduate commencement ceremony. Today, the Nicholas School of the Environment honors and recognizes your hard work, your passion for the environment, the passion that you have for the earth, the dedication to science and knowledge, and your leadership. We offer congratulations also to the members of your families and your friends who are with us here today and who have supported you during your time here at Duke. As some of you may know, the Nicholas School cooperates with the Trinity College of Arts and Sciences in awarding 4 undergraduate degrees. We offer the BA and BS in Earth and Ocean Sciences. We also offer the AB in Environmental Science and Policy and the BS in Environmental Science, both with the option of a concentration in Marine Sciences and Conservation. Our Earth and Ocean Sciences, Environmental Sciences, and Marine Science and Conservation programs build on the proud historical traditions associated with the formation of the Nicholas School. Since 1936, Earth and Ocean Sciences undergraduates have focused on the scientific aspects of how the Earth works. From their forestry roots in 1932, our environmental majors combine natural and social sciences to address pressing environmental challenges. Established in 1938, the Duke Marine Lab has been a longtime leader in marine science education, focusing on experiential coursework and research. So I wanted to start today with some comments. One of my very first jobs was as a river guide on the Cheat River in West Virginia. I hail from West Virginia, and that's where I grew up. And I think that rivers serve as very good metaphors, and in this case, the Cheat River, which is my example, on the Cheat River, the very first rapid is a rapid called Decision. And it is there that you basically make the choice to keep going down this Class 5 river or turn back. And I want, each of you has made a choice during your journey here at Duke to keep going. You have made your decisions. And you will face many, many more decisions, both metaphorical and real, after today, after you graduate. After you move past Decision, that first rapid on the Cheat River, you soon face several other rapids, and some with pretty ominous names. you come to High Falls, you come to Mays, and then you come to Big Nasty. And the rapid after that is called Even Nastier. And life is really about navigating these kinds of rapids, right? Some may hold excitement, some may hold fun, some may hold adventures, others may offer a big swim, and some may even offer danger. But I think it's instructive because as you navigate these waters, I want to offer you these 3 thoughts from disparate sources. The first is from Goethe, who encourages us to be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid. You know, people like passion, and more than ever, we need bold thinkers in this world today. So be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid. The second thought comes from our own Coach K, who says, trust the work, right? When I'm anxious about an event or something that I'm doing, maybe preparing a graduation speech, I ask, have I put in the work to be successful at what I've done? And if I have, trust the work. And the third piece of advice comes from Charles Gordon. And it is a particularly telling quote, I think, given this moment in our American history. And it's, we're all smart. Distinguish yourself by being kind. And hear me loudly and clearly, because you need to heed this advice. The world has very big problems. Whether we're dealing with climate change, or declining biodiversity, or the crisis in our oceans, or environmental injustice, we need to be there and prepared to act. But the good news here is that you have chosen to focus your time on this planet to address real challenges. You have educated yourselves, you're engaging, you're researching, and you are participating. And these are noble pursuits. These have been your decisions. And it is those decisions that we are here celebrating today. And while at Duke, you haven't shrunk from these considerable challenges. I had a chance to read through all of your biographies yesterday, and they were very inspiring in many, many ways. You've worked in research labs, you've volunteered, you've published, you've been active in a variety of student organizations, you have engaged in field courses, internships that took you to Yellowstone, to Hawaii, to Ireland, to Madagascar, to Geneva, to Washington, D.C., to Costa Rica and the Amazon, and some of you even did significant work right here in our own backyard in North Carolina. Some of you took a semester abroad to Australia, Costa Rica, Singapore, Madrid, South Africa, Morocco, or Ireland. Some of you participated in Basque Connections, helping to reduce the carbon footprint on our own campus, or you assisted in red wolf recovery, or strived to understand environmental health issues in Peru. Some of you worked with Duke Engage in Togo, Thailand, Vietnam, or Chile. Through all of these experiences, and I celebrate them because you've really dug in and taken advantage of the many opportunities that are afforded you here at Duke, many of you ended up connecting with the world around you and with the people outside. These are the kind of visceral experiences that connect us with nature, with people, with experiences and the aliveness in this world. And it is these connections that inspire passion and love for what we do. And I urge you to maintain these connections and to lead others to these kinds of places, because we will not protect that which we do not love. And this is one way for us to learn to love. It is a world increasingly dominated, as you well know, by technology and remote connections. We need to strive to maintain these visceral connections that make us feel alive. And I charge you with this as our new graduates. All of these experiences has helped shape you into a well-rounded citizen of the planet. And you are deserving because of the hard work that you have put in, as well as fortunate to be afforded such opportunities. So put this to good use and ask yourself, where can you rise to be your absolute best self? Some of you, also in reading through your biographies, some of you know what you want to do, and that was really impressive. It took me a while to find my own professional footing. I've been on a rather circuitous route. Eventually I moved away from river guiding. And so for those of you who might be less sure of where you're headed immediately, don't be daunted. Life has a way of figuring itself out. Try new things, fail, build yourself up again. You're going to be stronger for it, for trying things that don't work out. When you get tossed out of that raft, climb right back in. There are lessons literally waiting for you around every bend in the river if you're paying attention. Your future pursuits are varied, including options in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, with some of you already going off to do research as well. The next steps for some of you include dolphin research, studying human-wildlife conflict in Tanzania, doctoral studies in paleontology or ecosystem regeneration, teaching sustainability or environmental education, becoming a research assistant, going to vet school, pursuing environmental law, working in the energy or clean tech sector, among many, many other things. The world around us is changing at a highly rapid pace. As our earth and ocean science majors know, sometimes that river shifts its own course. And we need to be ready to adapt to the kind of disruption and transformation that we are witnessing all around us. With this education, I hope you feel prepared for the changes that lie ahead. I hope we have fulfilled our promise to you to provide you with an experience that challenged you, sharpened your tool sets, exposed you to new ideas, enlarged your way of thinking, and connected you to the amazing group that you sit with here today. Duke was not the easiest decision. And I'm quite sure your parents know it wasn't the cheapest. So congratulations again on making some really hard choices. And as you leave here today, you never know where life is going to take you. So hop into your boat, find some really good partners with whom you can paddle, and enjoy the ride. Congratulations.
We good? Yeah. Will the EOS majors please gather over here? Earth and Ocean Science majors. Good afternoon. I am Emily Klein, co-director of undergraduate studies for our Earth and Ocean Science majors, and I am pleased to present to you the graduates of our program. We'll start. The following graduates are receiving the Bachelor of Arts in Earth and Ocean Sciences. Haley Prevet. Haley says she took every geological field course she could fit into her schedule, studying with us in Yellowstone, Hawaii, and most recently in Ireland. She graduates with a double major in environmental engineering, and through her research in engineering, she helped to design a water treatment system in rural Alabama. She was a member of the club swim team, Gamma Phi Beta sorority, and the Chi Epsilon Honor Society for Civil Engineers. Next year, she will be living in Salt Lake City and working at the software company Qualtrics. All right. And just logistics, after I say your name, stand there so I can read your bio. Eric Wright, come on up. Eric is also a double major, in his case in mechanical engineering. He spent a semester in Australia and studied with us in Ireland and Hawaii. Eric is also a co-author on a publication resulting from his research on new ways of using acoustics to improve medical equipment. After graduation, he intends to continue his passion to help engineer the world for a better future. Trevin Toon. Very popular. Trevin has a long-standing passion for marine science. He spent 2 semesters and 2 summers at the Duke Marine Lab, where he conducted research on food webs at deep-sea methane seeps. As part of an energy environment team, by the way, which I co-led, he worked on a project to generate energy using wind kites. A double major in biology, Trevin will be working at the Potomac Chesapeake Dolphin Research Project and then plans to attend graduate school. The following graduates are receiving a Bachelor of Science in Earth and Ocean Sciences. Pei-Shu Lee. Pei-Shu has an insatiable appetite for research. At Duke, he has conducted research on the diet of extinct American monkeys, South American monkeys, the function of wishbones in dinosaurs, the anatomy of juvenile bears, and the behavior of silver in magmas. A double major in biology, Pei-Shu was recently elected into the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society. After graduation, Pei-Shu will continue his doctoral studies in vertebrate paleontology at the University of Chicago's renowned program in integrative biology. Elena Mannion. Elena spent a semester studying in Australia and 2 summers working as a stand-back intern at environmental nonprofits, including Greenpeace. Through much of her time at Duke, she has been involved in research studying atmospheric changes associated with extreme precipitation events in North Carolina. Elena also earned minors in environmental science and policy and in chemistry. And we have one graduate receiving what's called an interdepartmental major. This is the Interdepartmental Bachelor of Science degree, and he is Tevin Brown. Tevin is an interdepartmental major in Earth and Ocean Sciences and Computer Sciences. On campus, he was active in a number of important organizations, including Common Ground, Blue Devils United, Black Men's Union, and the Duke Men's Project. In addition to his research on projected effects of heat waves, for the past 2 summers, he has worked with the Monteverde Institute in Costa Rica to plant over 8,000 trees and study the relationship between hydrology and ecology in the cloud forest. Tevin will be applying to doctoral programs to continue his research. So now Alex is going to read. Yeah, I think I go here. Okay.
Okay. All right. Will the environment graduates please gather at the right side of the stage? Good afternoon, I'm Alex Glass, co-director of undergraduate studies in Earth and Ocean Sciences. I'm pleased to present to you the graduates for the Environmental Sciences and Policy program. The following graduates are receiving the Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Sciences and Policy. DeVree Adams. DeVree chose to study the environment because her best... I'm ready. I'm ready to read. DeVree chose to study the environment because her best memories were made in the natural world. At Duke, DeVree explored environmental practices in different regions of the world, including Singapore, and both in terrestrial and marine ecosystems. She researched the effect of plastic pollutants on anemones. DeVree was also the co-founder of Duke's first interfaith living learning community, Eruditio e Religio, and served as president of the Duke Latter-day Saints Student Association. Following graduation, she will return to Utah, where she has received a doctoral fellowship at Brigham Young University to study ecosystems regeneration following megafires. Daniel Allred. Daniel traveled to Vietnam as part of the Duke Engage program to learn about ecosystem diversity with the goal of being a wildlife specialist. He also studied abroad in South Africa, where he worked on springtails as indicators of soil health, and he studied at the Duke Marine Lab. Daniel graduates with minors in both biology and history, and after graduation, he will move to Boulder, Colorado, and hopes to continue working in ecosystem research. Anna Baylis. Anna is passionate about university campus sustainability and education. Within her major, Anna specialized in environmental education and climate change. She spent 2 summers abroad in Costa Rica, including a summer spent planting trees and researching rainforest reforestation with Duke Engage. She plans to pursue a career in sustainability and education after graduation. Virginia Elena Carta. With a focus on sustainable development, Virginia interned at the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species Secretariat in Geneva that's a mouthful. All right. In Geneva last summer, helping to develop biodiversity conservation priorities. On campus, she worked on the project Targeting of Infrastructure in the Middle East in Dr. Weinthal's lab, and created the charity Birdies for Babies to collect funds for Duke Children's Hospital. Virginia is an outstanding golfer and a member of the Duke women's golf team. She was awarded the Atlantic Coast Conference Postgraduate Scholarship Award and the Heydrich Family Leadership Postgraduate Award. Last fall, Virginia went to Oxford as a Global Rhodes Scholarship finalist, and next fall, she starts graduate school at the University of Cambridge. Rachel Cohn. Rachel is passionate about marine conservation and spent 2 semesters at the Marine Lab, where she conducted research in both Dr. Silliman's and Basurdo labs, completing her thesis on marine protected areas management in Palau. Within her major, Rachel pursued the concentration in marine science and conservation, with a second major in biology. After graduation, she will continue working as a research assistant at the Marine Lab while applying to doctoral programs. John Deering. While studying environmental economics abroad at the University of Glasgow, Jack became inspired to do his honor thesis on the European Union carbon market. During his time at Duke, he worked as a research assistant in Dr. Pratsen's energy lab and majored in economics with a minor in political science. In the future, he plans to continue research on energy and environmental economics and policy in either a professional or academic setting. Jordan Dozier. Growing up exploring the natural parks and wildlife refuges of Costa Rica, Jordan became passionate about the natural world. Through an internship developing affordable water quality analyses in a watershed in Costa Rica, Jordan applied his environmental knowledge to practical problems. Jordan is also graduating with a minor in biology. After graduation, he will be working in Philadelphia. William Graham. Will discovered his focus on sustainable business practices after an internship in Washington with the Defenders of Wildlife. Believing that he would be most effective in changing practices by working within an industry or a governing body, he pursued the Markets and Management Certificate. Will also worked for the Chronicle, volunteered through Duke Durham Saves, and conducted research on how U.S. and Chinese policies have affected solar development in the United States. He hopes to start his career in the energy industry. Julia Kemper. Julia explored sustainability through the lenses of natural and social sciences. In Australia, she explored fire stick ecology of the Aboriginal peoples. In North Carolina, she worked on a Bass Connection project examining the implementation of the Endangered Species Act on private lands and examined red wolf recovery outcomes. Julia also majored in dance and minored in economics and was honored with the Julia Ray Award for Leadership in the dance program. After graduation, she will work as a conservation education presenter at the Disney Animal Kingdom through their professional internship program. She plans to pursue a Master's of Environmental Management. Bree Morgan Kleiner. Bree is passionate about community involvement in marine conservation. She spent 2 semesters at the Marine Lab and studied community-based sea turtle conservation through travels with Basurdo's lab in Mexico. On campus, she was active in the Global Education Office as a student intern and peer advisor, and served on the Student Advisory Committee of the Duke Engage program. Bree is also graduating with a minor in biology. Henry Cohn. Henry is interested in environmental justice in the context of climate change and sustainable development. With Duke Engage in Togo, Henry worked on projects that supported youth development and addressed youth migration. As a Stanberg intern, Henry worked to address environmental and social justice issues in North Carolina. He was part of the Duke Campus Farm crew and worked to promote the farm to other Duke students. Henry is also a French and Francophone studies major and studied abroad in Paris. He hopes to return to Africa someday and continue supporting sustainable development. Kelsey Lansdale. Kelsey demonstrated her resilience as a great field worker, spending a summer in the Amazon. She combined her interest in environmental and human health through a Basque Connection project on environmental epidemiology in Peru. She also studied at the Marine Lab abroad in Madrid and took part in Duke Engage South Africa. On campus, Kelsey was involved in philanthropic efforts with Student U, Duke Children's Hospital, Alpha Phi, and Best Buddies. Kelsey has a double minor in Spanish and chemistry, and she plans to attend graduate school to continue studying human health. Now, we have somebody here called Jamie Lockwood. She's unable to attend today, unfortunately, because she is participating in the NCAA Women's Lacrosse Tournament. Go, Jamie. Roland Eudora Miao. Eudora's time as an education intern at the Duke Lemur Center sparked her interest in environmental education. Her Duke Engage experience in Costa Rica started a lifelong passion for habitat restoration. She also spent a semester at the Duke Marine Lab and studied abroad with Duke in South Africa to learn about conservation. Eudora is also a biology major, and in June she starts a land stewardship fellowship with the Aldo Leopold Foundation. Next year, she heads to Yale for graduate school. Aidan Muir. Aidan specialized in energy and interned with Heelstone Energy, where she worked on developing new solar farms across the country. She participated in the Basque Connections on Energy and the Environment, creating an app to help Duke students carpool to campus. Aidan also minored in history, and she qualified for the Phi Alpha Theta National Honor Society. She studied abroad in Madrid and hopes to return there someday. Elizabeth Nolan. As an environmental sociologist, Elizabeth wants to translate science to the general public. At Duke, Elizabeth honed her skills by participating in Duke Engage Kauai, volunteering at a wildlife sanctuary in Namibia, and studied at the Marine Lab. Elizabeth is a Duke University Trinity Scholar and was named a Hart Fellow through the Hart Leadership Program in the Sanford School of Public Policy. After graduation, her fellowship will focus on human-wildlife conflict mitigation research in Tanzania. Outside of the classroom, Elizabeth plays competitive ultimate frisbee for Duke. Haven Parker. Haven studied environmental policies related to fisheries. At the Duke Marine Lab, she became interested in oyster mariculture. During a Duke and DC semester program, Haven pursued her interest in environmental policy making by interning for U.S. Senator Kamala Harris. Haven also completed a minor in political science. On campus, Haven was a member of the club field hockey team and of the Sustainable Oceans Alliance. After graduation, Haven will start a fellowship at Lead for America, an organization that puts young leaders in local government jobs. Nicolas Portuondo. Nico specialized in environmental policy and climate change. During a semester in Glasgow, he explored international views and policy on this very issue. Nico worked for an environmental nonprofit on the North Shore of Kauai in a Duke Engage program. He was also an active non-varsity athlete on campus, participating in club Quidditch, and playing as a practice player for the varsity's women's basketball team. Nico is also minoring in English, and he plans to pursue a career in either environmental journalism or law, and is currently applying to graduate schools. Levi Rhodes. Levi's focus is on renewable energy. His interest was sparked by research experiences in South Africa with Duke Engage, where he partnered with the Just Footprints Foundation to promote environmental awareness and conservation. At the Marine Lab, he investigated marine algae for biofuel production in Dr. Johnson's lab. After graduation, Levi will be continuing his research interests for the next year prior to joining the United States Air Force. Amanda Shoren. Amanda is passionate about energy and sustainable entrepreneurship, and she participated in the Duke in Silicon Valley program in California. Amanda also spent a semester abroad with Duke in Madrid, a summer at the Duke Marine Lab, and completed a minor in psychology. Amanda will move to the San Francisco Bay Area in the fall to pursue work related to sustainability and to intern at a clean tech startup accelerator. Matthew Sema. Matthew is already an accomplished researcher with publications in Frontiers and Nature. He worked on climate change modeling for soybeans in China and on pangolin conservation through the Conservation X Labs. Matthew is also majoring in biology. After graduation, he will pursue a master's in public policy at Columbia University. Xanet Teki. Xanet concentrates on energy sustainability, recognizing that current environmental problems largely relate to fuel use. Xanet studied at the Duke Marine Lab and participated in research with Duke in South Africa, focusing on global health issues. He served as president of the Duke Eritrean and Ethiopian Student Association, worked as a volunteer at Duke Hospital, and was an English tutor for the Spanish-speaking community in Durham. After graduation, Xanet will spend a gap year working prior to starting medical school. Nadia Thompson. Nadia is interested in incorporating the needs of people and the environment into the political realm for better advocacy. During her time at Duke, Nadia studied abroad in both Australia and Morocco and at the Duke Marine Lab. Nadia also pursued a minor in education, and after graduation, she intends to stay in North Carolina to conduct research before moving to the Pacific Northwest to continue her interest in environmental education. Theodore Uben. Theo specialized in energy, motivated by a summer spent at Arcadia Power, which combines renewable energy generation with residential energy use. He spent a summer studying endangered species of the marine headlands in the San Francisco Bay Area and a semester studying abroad in Rome. Theo also minored in education, and throughout his time at Duke, he volunteered with Partners for Success, tutoring Durham elementary and middle school kids in math and science. Not here? Okay. Claire Rihanna Wang. As the co-president of the student organization Duke Climate Coalition, Claire led successful campaigns for Duke to support renewable energy policy reform and halt a natural gas plant proposed to be built on Duke's campus. Claire is an Angier B. Duke Scholar, a Udall Scholar, a Truman Scholar, and a Rhodes Scholar. She received Duke's Outstanding Leadership in Sustainability Student Award. Claire is also receiving a minor in economics and was just elected into the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society. She begins her studies at Oxford University this October, pursuing a Master's of Science degree in Environmental Change and Management. Sunny Zhang. Sunny has conducted research on environmental media coverage and innovative measures to combat wildlife trafficking. She served as president of the Duke Multicultural Greek Council, for which she was recognized with the Outstanding Contribution to Greek Council Award. Sunny also minored in computer science, and after graduation, she will continue to pursue her passion for conservation development and technology. That's you.
The following graduates are receiving the Bachelor of Science degree in Environmental Sciences. Georgia Delvecco. Georgia's interest in biological conservation was solidified during a summer in Madagascar promoting national land conservation. At Duke, she was an active member of the Duke Chronicle's Arts and Culture section called Recess and worked as an intern for Duke's Office of Sustainability. Georgia also majored in public policy. After graduation, she's moving back to California to pursue her passion for environmental policy. Amari Gardner. Amari's interest in environmental health developed through her research experience in Dr. Hugh Kim's engineering lab, Dr. Vilgalas's mycology lab, and Dr. Ferguson's microplastics lab, where she studied plastic additives in the environment. Outside of academics, Amari is a member of the Lambda Omega chapter of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, served as an after-school program director for the FEMS program, which means Females Excelling More in Math, Engineering, and Sciences, and was a member of the urban dance team Street Medicine. Amari is also receiving a minor in global health. After taking a gap year, Amari plans to pursue a master's degree in ecotoxicology. Anne Harshbarger. Anne is passionate about conservation of megafauna. She spent 3 semesters at the Marine Lab, where she researched the response of wild horses to drone flights with the Marine Robotics and Remote Sensing Lab. And she worked with the Marine Lab's Community Science Program. Annie was awarded the NOAA Ernest F. Hollings Undergraduate Scholarship and the North Carolina Campus Compact Community Impact Award. Anne also majored in biology with a minor in Spanish studies. After graduation, she will work as a research assistant for allied whales and hopes to pursue a doctorate in marine science. Julia Knorr. Julia is passionate about African biological conservation. During her semester abroad, she studied South African ecology and conservation. And in the past 2 years, she focused on African forest elephant research, examining their impact on seed dispersal and tropical forest structure. She is an active member of Duke's a cappella community. Julia also has a minor in global health. After graduation, she will continue working in conservation ecology and prepare to apply to doctoral programs. Mega Lenka. First introduced to research as a Huang Fellow, Mega has pursued a number of wildlife research opportunities while at Duke. She completed a behavioral ecology research internship at the Duke Lemur Center and a cetacean acoustics internship with NOAA in Hawaii. She also studied savanna ecology and conservation in South Africa during a semester abroad. Micah has served as a resident assistant for first years on East Campus for the past 3 years. After graduation, she looks forward to exploring new opportunities in her field and may apply to veterinary school. Eliza Letourneau. Eliza was awarded a grant to spend a summer researching fish mercury levels in Peru as part of a Basque Connections team investigating the effects of mercury contamination on environmental and human health. Eliza spent a summer at the Duke Marine Lab and a semester studying Spanish in Madrid. She also worked with community members on financial goals with the Community Empowerment Fund. Eliza also minored in Spanish and chemistry. After graduation, she plans to continue research and attend graduate school to study environmental management. Francesca Martella Kell. Francesca's breadth of environmental interests span the natural and social sciences. With Duke Engage Thailand, Francesca worked at a sea turtle rehabilitation center. In a Basque Connections project, she studied the impacts of ozone-depleting substances and evaluated environmental regulations, such as the Montreal Protocol. She also majored in literature. This summer, Francesca will work at the United Nations Sustainable Energy Division as a Duke Global Policy Fellow. Lauren Peterson. Lauren's most impactful experience at Duke was Duke Engage Kauai, where she fell in love with biocultural conservation, met her mentor, Dr. Rebecca Vidra, and made some of her best friends. She studied at the Duke Marine Lab, and she studied abroad at the University of Ghana, and she also is receiving a minor in cultural anthropology. Throughout her time at Duke, Lauren has been an active member and officer of the ski and snowboard team. Following graduation, Lauren will assist with an archaeological excavation in Spain and then move to the West Coast as a naturalist in the Santa Catalina Islands. John Situ. Showcasing his interest in energy, John is also receiving a certificate in energy and the environment. He spent a semester at the Marine Lab researching marine microalgal biofuels. John worked for Sustainable Duke, co-led the Duke Smart Home Community Garden, and was a member of Sigma Chi, and the communications director for Duke Energy Club. He also co-led Duke's Spark Career event and created and taught his own class, Tolkien, the Lord of the Rings and the Environment. John is moving on to a 2-year leadership rotational program at Corporation ABB. Alex Smalley. Alex is unable to attend today. He is participating in the NCAA Men's Golf Regional this weekend. Go, Alex. Samantha Vortsky. Samantha loves the outdoors and has backpacked every year as part of Project Wild. She traveled abroad in Belize, Singapore, and Mexico and spent a semester at the Marine Lab. Samantha graduates with a minor in Spanish. She also loves comedy, and since freshman year, she has performed with Inside Joke, Duke's premier sketch comedy troupe. Her research focused on peat moss evolution, very funny also, and niche differentiation, work that she will continue after graduation with a fellowship at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Stella Wong. Stella researched air pollution exposure in Dr. Zhang's lab. She also spent a summer at the Marine Lab, a semester abroad in South Africa, and a summer in Chile through Duke Engage, where she helped perform limnological research and translate educational materials for the, help me with pronunciation, Hulo, did I do that okay? Okay, Biological Reserve. In the fall, she will continue pursuing her Master's of Environmental Management degree at the Nicholas School. And we have one interdepartmental major in environmental sciences and policy and cultural anthropology. That is Kyra Lambert. Kira designed her major to build her knowledge of human societies and the environment to better address societal challenges needed for environmental sustainability. She also has a psychology minor and a markets and management certificate degree. Kira is a captain on the women's basketball team and has been involved with the United Black Athletes Association, which creates community and helps to foster identity in Black student athletes for career preparation. Okay, we can sit there. And what do we do?
Okay. Dr. Phillipson, can you come to the stage, please? In addition to being the co-director of the Sustainability Engagement Certificate, Dr. Phillipson is a senior fellow of the Kenan Institute for Ethics at Duke and associate research professor at the Sanford School of Public Policy. Will the student earning a certificate in sustainability engagement please gather to the right of the stage? We have one, and we have one. Two of our major and one minor comprise their second graduating class of students receiving a certificate in sustainability engagement. This certificate acknowledges two types of achievements. First, given that this certificate equally considers environmental, societal, and economic equity, each student chose a thematic emphasis at the intersection of all three. Second, students also complete two substantial experiences related to their thematic and emphasis. During our post-ceremony reception, feel free to ask about their work around the certificate. So the first, Ashna Agarwal could not be here today. Anna Bayless, come up. Yay. Jamie Lockwood also is receiving the certificate, and she's playing lacrosse on the other side of campus. So, Dr. Schultz, can you come up? Okay. Marine Science and Conservation Leadership Certificate. Will the students earning a certificate in Marine Sciences and Conservation Leadership please gather to the right of the stage? The Marine Sciences and Conservation Leadership Program is rooted in marine science and conservation and includes studies in a variety of disciplines ranging from marine biology to oceanography to ocean policy. The certificate provides undergraduate students with leadership skills and an understanding of both natural and social sciences, concept, and practices. Elizabeth Nolan, Heaven Parker, and Alexandra Wen, who cannot join us today. So, Tom?
So at this time, I'd like to ask Megan Dunphy Daly to come to the stage. All right. Megan received her PhD from Duke in 2015, working with Andy Reid from the Marine Lab. She joined our faculty 2 years ago to head up our Rachel Carson Scholars Program and has done a phenomenal job mentoring our students and helping them navigate their graduation with distinction theses. So I'm going to let Megan present the MSc Awards, or the Rachel Carson Scholar.
Thank you, Tom. So we'd also like to recognize our graduates of the Rachel Carson Scholars Program. This program's goal is to train the next generation of leaders in marine science and conservation through faculty-mentored research and professional development. So we'd like to acknowledge our Rachel Carson Scholars graduating today from the Nicholas School by having them stand when their name is called. Rachel Cohn. Annie Harshbarger. Bree Kleiner. Levi Rhodes. And Trevin Toon. Congratulations.
All right, so special awards. The accomplishments of all our graduates, both within the Nicholas School, within Duke's boundaries, and all around the world is clearly amazing. Let's have a round of applause for these phenomenal students. In addition, some of these students have gone above and beyond in other ways while here on campus, and we want to recognize these graduates with special awards, beginning with graduation with distinction. I invite all of you to visit the third floor in Granger Hall during the reception to view the posters summarizing their research. Will the students who earn graduation with distinction please come to the right side of the stage? The Graduation with Distinction program recognizes students who demonstrate academic excellence through both successful completion of a senior thesis based on a substantive research project over and above the requirements for their major. Each student will receive a book related to their interest. The graduates receiving graduation with distinction in environmental science and policy are Virginia Elena Carta. The title of her thesis is The Socio-Economic Impacts of Organic and Sustainable Farming Practices on Local Communities, supervised by Chantal Reed and presented by Dr. Marty Smith. Rachel Cohn. Her thesis was entitled Small Scale, Big Impact, ? The Social and Ecological Effects of Small-Scale MPAs in Palau, supervised by Brian Silliman and presented by Dr. Andy Reed. John Deering. The title of his thesis was Effect of EU ETS on Carbon Emissions in Developing EU States, supervised by Lincoln Pratson and is presented by Emily Klein. Annie Harshbarger. Annie's thesis was entitled The Use of Drones to Study the Feral Horses of Eastern North Carolina and was supervised by Dave Johnston. Bree Cleaner. I know. Her thesis, Bree's thesis, is entitled The Development of Sustainability of Community-Based Conservation Initiatives in Fishing Communities, Sea Turtle Conservation in Bahia de Quino, supervised by Javier Basurto and presented by Dave Johnston. Whoops, wrong page. Julia Noor. Her thesis was entitled The Answers in the Gut, an investigation of African forest elephant ingestion, digestion, and defecation on Chrysophyllum laccortaneum, germination and growth, supervised by John Polson. Kelsey Lansdale. Her thesis was entitled Predictions of Human Exposure Pathways to Mercury Using After Native Diet Scenarios in Madre de Dios, Peru. and was supervised by Emily Bernhardt.
Emily Bernhardt, given by Joel Meyer.
Given by Joel Meyer, all right. Eliza Lentrino. All right, her thesis was entitled Differential Risk of Human Exposure to Mercury Through Fish Consumption in De Madro del Rio, supervised by Dr. Helen Hughes Kim and presented by Joel Meyer. Eudora Mao. Her thesis is entitled The Role of Gender and Race Ethnicity in Environmental Identity Development Through Duke Undergraduate Students' Narrative, supervised by Dr. Nikki Cagle and presented by Elizabeth Albright. Elizabeth Nolan. Her thesis was entitled Demographic Differences in Seafood Consumption and Preferences in Durham, North Carolina, and is presented by Dr. Grant Murray. Haven Parker. Her thesis was entitled Managing Shellfish Mariculture in North Carolina, Comparing State Mariculture Regulatory Programs with the Values Expressed by North Carolina Stakeholders, and again, presented by Dr. Murray. Lauren Peterson. Her thesis was entitled Relationships Between Habitat Factors and Opu Distribution in Lamahalui Streams, Kauai, Hawaii. Did I get that anywhere close to right? Supervised by Dr. Rebecca Vidra. Levi Rhodes. His thesis was entitled Algal Growth Rate and Yield Analysis with Light and Temperature Condition Variance, supervised by Dr. Zachary Johnson. Samantha Botsky. Her thesis was entitled Evolution and Niche Differentiation in Sphagnum, supervised by Dr. Dan Richoff. Stella Wang. Her thesis was entitled Relationships Between Environmental Chemical Exposure Biomarkers and Cardiorespiratory Responses, supervised by Dr. Jim Zhang and is presented by Joel Meyer. Pishu Lee. His thesis was entitled Vapor Transport of Silver and Gold in Basaltic Lava Flows and was supervised by Dr. Alan Boudreau, but is presented by, I believe, both Alex Glass and probably Emily as well. All right. You're up.
Now we'd like to honor 3 students receiving our highest departmental awards. Along with the gifts they received today, their names will be recognized on a plaque located on the 3rd floor commons of Environment Hall. The first award is the Thomas V. Laska Memorial Award. The Thomas V. Laska Award in Earth and Ocean Sciences is awarded annually in recognition of outstanding achievement and promise for the future in the field of earth and ocean sciences. It was established by Andy and Vera Laska in memory of their son, Thomas V. Laska, who was a geology major at Duke in the 1970s. And this year, the award goes to Pishu Lee. Okay.
So I was told I have 2 minutes to embarrass you. So a few years ago, a colleague of mine told me that there was a student in their class that was really interested in dinosaur paleontology. Now, I'm a paleontologist myself, but I'm an invertebrate paleontologist, which I study things that my kids call squishy, gooey, and creepy. They have no backbones. And so paleontologists usually have 2 reactions to students like that. One is, well, they'll get over it, or they'll become a really good paleontologist. And I'm glad to say that Pishu is incredibly on that way to do that. I'm extremely proud to have been able part of his life in the last 4 years. He's actually graduation with distinction in both biology and earth and ocean sciences. and will be going and pursuing a lucrative career, which I'm expecting to be incredibly powerful and incredibly successful at the University of Chicago, studying vertebrate paleontology. I am looking forward to being able to say, I know that famous paleontologist known as Pei-Shu Lee. Now, in honor of this, we're going to give him a little bit of light reading. This actually includes an article by Marsh, who was one of the earliest dinosaur paleontologists in the country. This is from 1894. And because it's so big, we also got him a bag for it. So you can take it in the field, where he's going to spend a lot of time. Pei-Shu, my man.
Next is the Sarah Lebowski Award. The Sarah Lebowski Award is given annually to a graduating environment major in recognition of personal integrity and academic excellence. The award was established by Vicki and Peter Lebowski in memory of their daughter, Sarah Lebowski, who was an environmental science major at Duke in the 1990s. The recipient will receive a scarf weaved from natural fibers produced in a closed-loop system from local artist Sidney Sogel. I'm going to introduce Erica Weinthal, who's going to give the award. Erica Weinthal is the Lee Hill Snowden Professor of Environmental Policy and Coordinator for the International Programs in the Nicholas School. Dr. Weinthal specializes in global environmental politics and environmental security with a particular emphasis on water and energy.
So this is more fun than I thought it would be because I was told the person doesn't know. So I am thrilled to be able to present this recognition to Virginia Elena Carta.
You get to give it.
I have to say a few words first. We're not going to give the gift yet. This has been the best. I've been waiting for this all day. And I have to say I've known Virginia now for 3 years, from the fall of her sophomore year when she first enrolled in my undergraduate class on environment, conflict, and peace building. And during that first day, I was trying to break the ice, get to know the students, and I just asked students to introduce themselves, tell me what their major was, and what they did during the summer. And Virginia just looked at me and said, I played golf. And I had never had a student answer like that. And what I would soon learn over the next 3 years is that Virginia would balance a rigorous athletic schedule while also pursuing her academic studies in environmental science and policy. It was also during that class, which I should say she went on to work for me. She took my PhD seminar this year. What I discovered was how brilliant Virginia is and how focused and passionate she is about her academics, especially in the area of international environmental policy, sustainable development, and food security. Others have already talked about some of her achievements, such as having an internship with the Secretariat of the CITES Convention, writing an undergraduate thesis. So I won't go into those details, but I want to just also note, during her time at Duke, she has really refined and deepened her interest in small-scale sustainable agriculture, sustainable development. And what I loved learning from Virginia was not only her interest in this, but it was through this connection she had to her grandfather and the stories she would tell me about working with him in the garden and about his love of the land. So 2 minutes is really not enough to convey how much she inspires us, the admiration and respect that many of us on the faculty have for Virginia. I'm just going to say a few words from all the nominations that came in. She was described as passionate, having an impressive degree of confidence that she combines with humility. She's full of energy, she's thoughtful, she's determined, and I don't even think that begins to capture how much I've enjoyed getting to know Virginia over the last 3 years and how much I'm going to miss her. I think we all wish her well in her graduate studies at Cambridge. but also in her golf career. Next week, she will be competing in the Nationals. And I will just, there is a gift here. It is small because she travels so much. We did not want to weigh her down.
Are they?
Where am I? I'm confused. Come on up.
All right, so the award in marine science and conservation is awarded annually to an outstanding student in recognition of excellent scholarship, research, and citizenship. I would like to invite Dr. Dave Johnston up to the stage so that he can present this year's winner.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everyone. We're almost done here. I'm really, really excited to be able to stand up here and present Annie, or the people as she's known in Hawaii, Anne Harshbarger, as the award winner for the Marine Science and Conservation Award. So I have actually a lot of emotion associated with this because Anne has been a really important part of our lab for the last 3 years. And so I can't imagine actually going forward without having her smiling face, showing up all the time, helping out with everything, and being such an amazing contributor to our overall research group. When she came to work with us, she had an interest in working with marine megafauna and working on behavioral ecology. And we had this really interesting idea about working with horses. And it turns out she knew a little bit about horses. And so she agreed to take on this project and to start to build our understanding of how we can use drones, which is something that we work with in our lab a lot, to study the behavior of these animals and their ecology and biology. So this is a pretty challenging bit of work to do. So first of all, Annie had to learn how to wrangle the technology, right? It's all very new and challenging. She also had to be able to wrangle the system, learn how to deal with the natural resource managers that are working with those horses, and how to navigate things like the University Iaquk system to be able to get a permit to be able to do this drone work over the horses. And honestly, it's probably maybe the biggest challenge is working with horses, which are incredibly beautiful, but from what I can tell, probably the most random animals on the planet. So anyways, I'm really, really excited to be able to present this award to Annie, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens next.
You have to take it out. Oh, yeah, you have to take it out.
Annie has a great sense of humor and an appreciation of the absurd, and so this is it's a great gift for her. It is quite heavy. Yeah, you're welcome. Nice. Thanks, Annie.
Don't hurt yourself on the way down.
Yeah.
Okay. As we conclude our recognition ceremony, I want to congratulate once again all of our graduates on their accomplishment and wish them well in their next chapter of their lives. And parents, just as you let them go from your home 4 years ago, we, as faculty, let them go with some sadness, but also with great pride. Lastly, I want to thank the many staff here who are spending time outside their normal job duty to help with our ceremony to run smoothly. And I must say, given the weather inclement plans we had to make in the last 36 hours, they really worked hard. You're welcome. Please join us in Granger Hall for a short walk here up the street, and there's going to be guides to help you. You're welcome to tour the building, including the second floor art gallery, please stop by the 3rd floor to see the LASCA and the Lebowski Awards plaque, and also to look at the graduation with distinction and capstone project posters. If you had an umbrella and you left it in the back, we're safe, no rain, yay, but don't forget to pick it up. Graduate, right away, please convene on the other side of the street by the pond for the photo. And this concludes our ceremony. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Produced by Duke University.